my car is in the driveway and it's being keyed. I want to put in some cameras so that I know who it is. Lo and behold, it was their next door neighbour. The video was good enough for the police to actually take action, and I've acted as an expert witness in court.
I'm here with Michael Hayne from Security Heroes. Michael, tell me a little bit about your business journey.
Well, I started in security in a very strange way. I was a quality management expert consulting for a number of companies, one of whom was actually starting a security company in Australia with a priority on customer service as opposed to priority on making money. And I liked the idea, and I did some consulting for them. I built a system whereby their franchisees could start actually working with them, and they invited me to join them in their journey. So I actually became a master franchisee, and within 6 years I had built the biggest franchise of what became the fourth largest security firm in Australia.
Wow. I mean, I don't know if many people know that. That's incredible. What were the biggest challenges in doing that? Like, how were you challenged in doing that role, and how did that kind of...
I knew nothing about security other than the fact that I was selling insurance on the side, so I knew the benefits of security. And they taught me, as a franchisee, the benefit of franchise is that you get all of the information that's there. So they taught me about the electronic security stuff, which is great from my perspective. And it just went on from there, and it minefielded. It blew out of proportion.
So, my reckoning is this: I'm an '80s boy, so I grew up in the '80s, and I remember there was like the door-to-door salesman security, like install a security system into your house or whatever. And obviously, I saw alarms going into cars. So if you had an expensive, you knew you had an expensive car if you had an installed alarm, and then it became everyone had an alarm or an immobilizer, and then and everyone had a home security system, and businesses had all their security systems. But walk me through your connection to all of that.
The benefit of those door-to-door systems, or the ones that you can buy online, or the ones that you can buy in the shops, are that they're not certified. They're not. There's no insurance, there's no warranty with them as such. They'll give you a warranty if you bring it back and say it's not working, but try and demonstrate that in your own home. The problem is that the people selling them are not security licensed with Victoria Police, with New South Wales Police, with the Federal Police. The law of Australia are that you have to be licensed with the state police in the state that you live in to actually buy security items that will be used in a security fashion. Now, I won't mention brand names, but most of the brand names that were around in those days are no longer available anymore because they couldn't maintain the quality of it. It all fell flat. So they were taken over by companies like the ones that we were building. These days you can buy stuff online, you can put it in yourself, but if it doesn't work, you're stuffed.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And importantly, because I think the average Joe, or the average Mary, or however that saying goes, the average Joe doesn't kind of know what they don't know. So what are some of the insights? Like, what are some of the things, like if you had sort of 30 seconds in an elevator with someone, how would you explain what you do and why you do it and why they need to engage, Security Heroes?
You need to have a licensed security firm so that you know that the products that you're getting are genuine, not non-genuine stuff with the right labels on them, that they carry the manufacturer's warranty, that they're going to be supported and serviced, that you can get them on your mobile phone, you can get them not reliant on the internet. That's a very important one. You need to have 4G backup or some other form of communication, because if you're reliant on the internet and the internet goes down and it drops out all the time, then you've got no security. And you can't have security if, in fact, you're reliant upon something which you know is not reliable.
Well, that's the thing I kind of think of, because the idea is you don't need it for 99.999% of the time. And the irony is you don't want the one day... I mean, I'll give you a bit of a situation that we had. We had someone come here to this building and they decided they saw... the installer installed a PTZ camera. He got a bit lazy. He didn't want to put it too high. So he put it at kind of top of ladder height. first level height. And I mean, I sort of said to him at the time, I said, "Oh, shouldn't that go higher? Like that looks like anyone could steal it." And it's a $3,000 camera, too easy to get to. So anyway, one day I came and there's this weird kind of chair and ladder chair and this sort of lattice thing leaning against my building. And I investigated and I looked up and I saw that my security camera was stolen. And my first thing was, oh my gosh, what a goose. Who'd steal a security camera? Because I'm going to have their face on the security camera that they're trying to see, because it's going to be, obviously it's going online and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, so I spoke to my security company, went to look at the footage. Every other camera was set up correctly. That one camera wasn't recording because the guy hadn't set it up correctly. And my experience was, for 3 years, the alarm system I thought was, or the security system that I thought was working, wasn't working. Like that one camera, that if he tried to steal any other camera, I would have had that footage. So we've got the other cameras seeing the person arrive and try to get it, but we don't actually have the face, which means the police have struggled to go, well, how do we identify the person and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, the irony is, I share that story to you. It's probably a story that you hear a lot of times.
It is. And you actually have a legal claim against the company that installed it, or against the technician that they engaged to do the job. Very often we find the security companies are licensed or registered, but the individual installers are not. All right? When you deal with security heroes, even our administrators, our financial people, the people answering the phone are all licensed, which means you've got insurance, you've got coverage, and you've got a warranty and a guarantee that we stand behind you. So when something goes wrong in a case like that, you're left holding the bag, whereas you shouldn't be. And I've actually helped some people in that situation get their money back, or get courts to find against the security company to say what they did wasn't fit for purpose, or what they did wasn't appropriate, or they didn't look after their customer, or they didn't maintain standards. There are Australian standards that need to be maintained.
Yeah.
And unless you're dealing with someone who's reputable, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, you need someone that you can rely on, because otherwise we're not experts. We need someone who can do that. So, but okay, let's talk about business. You're running your own business. Yep. Walk me through, what are your kind of, I don't know, over the years, how long have you been in business?
26 years.
26 years. Okay, so you've been in business for 26 years. So you know a thing or two about a thing or two. So take me through, what are your secrets of success in terms of having a business for 26 years?
Networking with the people who matter. And when I say networking, during my 6 years as a franchisee, I got to know the technicians, I got to know the control rooms, I got to know the patrol companies. I was dealing with not just the people answering the phone, but the owners of those organisations. And when I separated myself from them, and the reason I separated was because they started to get too greedy. And what I found was that they weren't offering the best service at the best cost and the best product. They were offering what they believed was appropriate. And my hands were tied when I was selling those systems, because as a franchisee, I could only sell what they had. You walk into a McDonald's store and you have to buy the same product that every other McDonald's store has, okay? Whereas I was finding people wanted something a little bit different, or their situation was a little bit different and they wanted a bit of variety. They wanted this brand or that specification, and as a franchisee I couldn't do that. So what I did was I split away from them. I created Security Heroes, and I was then open slather to go back to everyone I'd networked with to say, I would like you to be the patrol company organised with me on my behalf with my customers, in the same way that you were doing for the franchisee. And I had technicians, I had everybody set up. And so establishing Security Heroes was a piece of cake. Getting it off the ground, however, was a little bit different, because the franchisee had given it to me on a silver platter. I had to create my own operating procedures, my own way of getting customers. And so it grew slowly. But within a couple of years, it was taking off. And, they say the first 100 customers is the hardest. And yes, it was. The first 1,000 customers is then, not so difficult. But then once you've got 1,000 customers under your belt, you'll find you don't actually need to market. You don't actually need to go to do much, advertising. It's the referrals that come in the door, because people are moving house, people are installing, opening a new store. The next door neighbour's getting robbed, and it's just referral after referral after referral, and they're happy customers referring someone. So there's an element of trust. Since then, I've built exponentially, simply because I've networked with other business owners who also want to know how they can help their customers. And the property market is enormous. And I've networked with a lot of people in the property market, and every time someone moves into a new property, they need their alarm system or their CCTV adjusted, PIN codes changed, put on their mobile phones, change of monitoring centre, whatever it happens to be. Get it out, make sure that the person who was last in this property now has access to my cameras.
Yep.
All right?
Yep.
So we got to deal with a few of those, and now they're my best referral partners.
Awesome. Currently in the news in Victoria, I mean, not to put this as to time this, but obviously home invasions seem to be the new thing. What's your take on that, and how does your business, I guess, benefit from that in terms of? But walk me through your view on that and how that impacts your business.
It's hit the news lately, more so for political reasons. It's never been good. It's better than it is in some places. If you look around the Melbourne metropolitan area, for example, you'll find there are better suburbs and there are worse suburbs. There are harder hit crime areas and there are softer crime areas. None of them are good. Anybody who's robbed, anyone who's invaded is one too many, okay? However, it's hit the news lately because there's political reasons the government isn't doing the right thing. The police are doing a fantastic thing, and I'm very supportive of the police. They're catching the baddies. The problem is they're being let go by the courts, and that's a political aspect. So let's not go political.
Yeah.
From my personal point of view, I've been involved with Neighbourhood Watch for a long time, and I still am. I'm a past president of Neighbourhood Watch, and I'm very supportive of Neighbourhood Watch. Neighbourhood Watch do a wonderful way of helping the neighbours help the police, and it works very well. I can tell you from the crime statistics that I've seen for 25 years that, in fact, yes, it waves. It goes up, it goes down. It's in good areas, it's in bad areas. But anything that's happening shouldn't be happening, and I'm happy to be able to help a lot of those people secure their peace of mind by making sure that they're lowering their risk of invasion personally.
Yeah, fantastic. And okay, so let's there's a couple of things I want to go through. But first off, walk me through what do I need to know about security? So, whether I'm buying a new house, like what is it, like what are the things, the buyer beware? What are things that, if you had a bit of an insight, there'll be certain little secrets or nuances, things to look for, do I need 15 cameras and, all that sort of stuff? Do I need, panic buttons? Like, what do I need in terms of security?
Okay. Every case is different. What you need is someone like myself as a security expert to come and do a free on-site assessment, talk to you as well, because we're assessing not only the property risk and what are the risk areas, what are the risk invasion points and that sort of thing, but what is your concern? Do you have Picassos on the wall which are likely to be pinched? Or is it the fact that you're a lawyer and you're concerned that people are going to come after you and get you? So I need to understand your perspective and your property, and then I can look at what you've got, what your risks are, and what you need. I put forward a proposal to you, and if you accept that proposal, that's when we start doing business.
Yeah, great. One of my experiences with my parents' house is that the system always seemed out of date, and probably because they went cheap and nasty. So, it always felt like it went out of date, or it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do, or the only time the security company's calling you is because it's tripping and it's not actually because it's gone off. And that for me creates these kind of things. You get into a habit of going, you don't take the alarm seriously. What would you have to say to people who are kind of buying these off-the-shelf items as opposed to speaking to you?
Most old systems were never designed for the internet. Most old systems the older systems were never designed for the internet. They were never designed to be put on your mobile phones. But these days, technology has moved forward, and a very easy service would be to adapt an old system to the internet, adapt an old system to your mobile phone. If you're not getting notifications on your mobile phone that your alarm's gone off, if you're not able to arm and disarm on your mobile phone, then you've got an out-of-date system that may or may not need to be replaced. It may just be needing a service, a slight upgrade, stick in a 4G module, and now you've got it all operating on your mobile phone. Unless you're in a high-risk or commercial situation, you may not even need back-to-base monitoring on an ongoing basis. Most companies only will tie you up to 3 or 4 or 5 years on an ongoing agreement, whereas Security Heroes will give you a month-by-month obligation-free back-to-base monitoring arrangement if, in fact, you've got it on your mobile phone at about less than half the cost of what back-to-base monitoring costs. So if, in fact, you have it on your mobile phone, which everybody should have, then if you want back-to-base monitoring on an occasional basis because you're going interstate or overseas, then you can have that. You can pay a little bit extra for a month and then scale it back again.
Fantastic. So I want to ask you now, talk to me through your credentials. Walk me through, why do you feel like you're the subject matter expert?
Okay. I networked when I got into security, not just with the business people to build my business. I networked with the right people. I joined ASIAL, which is the Australian roof body of Security Association for Australia. I joined the Victorian Security Institute, which is the state body who is dealing with the state police because it's a state matter that you need to know the regulations. They're different in every state. I then got myself involved with the committees. I got myself involved with the politics of the organisation. I have been on the board of the Victorian Security Institute now for over 20 years. I've served several areas of the community. I'm currently the Vice President of the Victorian Security Institute, and I'm the liaison officer with the government on behalf of, when it comes to following the Private Security Act and all that sort of stuff. I'm a gold member of ASIAL, so I'm recognised as, if you look up ASIAL, or if you look up who is licensed in Victoria or in Australia or wherever, up will pop Michael Hayne, up will pop Security Heroes, because we're recognised as the leader in the organisation.
Yeah, fantastic. Why are you passionate about Security Heroes? I can tell you are passionate. What is it about? Why this? I mean, you seem like you could own any widget company and you'd be a success. Why Security Heroes?
It affects me personally. I've been robbed 3 times. Believe it or not, people have broken into our home. Even since I've had cameras and since I've had an alarm system, they didn't get very much, because as soon as they went in, the alarm went off. The cameras capture it, whatever it happens to be. But I know what it's like. It's not what's taken, which you've probably got insured new for old. It's the intrusion. It's the personal feeling that you have that someone has been in your home without you knowing, without wanting. No one wants that. I have dealt with, over the years, a lot of people who sometimes don't ring me up until it's too late. And they ring up and say, Michael, I've been broken into. We spoke 6 months ago or 2 years ago, and I didn't want to go ahead. I'm now ready to go ahead. I said, better now than later, because invariably what someone will do is they'll pinch your stuff, they'll break in, you'll replace it new for old. 6 weeks later, they'll do it again, and this time get the good stuff. You don't want them doing it again. So what I am passionate about is knowing that I've helped somebody who is absolutely devastated with the fact that they've been infiltrated, and having them feel peace, saying they can't do that anymore to me without me knowing about it, without the police knowing about it, without, me having video evidence of it.
Yeah. Let's pivot now a little bit to, not pivot, I want you to talk me through, what's your ideal customer? We use different words for this. What's your bullseye? What's your ideal referral? But who is your ideal client? And is it business or is it personal? Walk me through.
Both home or shop owner or manager that cares more about the quality of the product and safeguarding their staff, safeguarding their family, looking after their property, rather than how much is it going to cost me? I want to save, this company's offering me, a couple of dollars a month less, I'm not interested in giving them the lowest price. Security Heroes is not the cheapest, and I'm happy to say that. All right, but we offer the best value for money, whereby they will not turn around in 6 months or a year's time when it doesn't work, when it should have worked, and say, Michael, it didn't work. I'm confident that with our services, we will charge a premium price, but they will get the best service and be delighted with the fact that when it needs to work, it'll work.
Michael, I want you to tell me a story. I'm sure you got hundreds, but give me some stories of I don't know. You can pick. Give me a story of, the buyer beware. Like once upon a time there was this scenario, or tell me the saving grace, we installed this thing and we got this and my client called me. Like we've all got business stories. I want you to tell me a story that you go, oh, this is my favorite story to share about why people should trust Security Heroes.
Okay. So I had a referral partner who didn't have good security in his home come to me and say, Michael, I'm having a few issues at home. My car is in the driveway and it's being keyed. I've got, somebody, I'm sure, causing some issues. I want to put in some cameras so that I know who it is. So we put in some cameras. Lo and behold, it was their next door neighbour. They had no idea that there was an issue with their next door neighbour. Their next door neighbour was upset with them because of the fence being out of alignment, or because they had a swimming pool or something. I don't know what it was. But whatever it was, we captured video of him doing the wrong thing. The quality of the video was good enough for the police to actually take action, charge him, find him guilty, and prosecute. And the next door neighbour was gone. So, he sold his house, he moved out, he was gone. And I've got a delighted customer now who is actually happy to say exactly what I've just said from his personal perspective. And that's an example of where the cameras can be useful. If you've got to be careful with cameras, because if the night vision is not good, or if the resolution is not good, or if it's not accurate enough, it might look great on your mobile phone, but it won't stand up in court as evidence.
Yeah.
So you've got to rely on someone with a security license who can stand by their product. And I've acted as an expert witness in court to stand by the video evidence. Because, I'll stand by my product.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, I want to take the conversation now to our mutual connection, which is BNI. How long have you been whenever I see your badge and there's lots of stuff on it, which is kind of cool.
Which I'm not wearing today because I'm not here for BNI.
My first impression of Michael Hayne was, I think I turned up to an awards event and I met you and you had lots of lots of stuff, which said to me, this guy is passionate about his business, passionate about BNI, and is clearly a great networker. So walk me through the BNI journey for you. What's that been like, and why do you love BNI?
My statistics will tell you why I like BNI, which you saw a couple of weeks ago at a session that I moderated. I built Security Heroes for 15 years without BNI by networking with other groups. And I still do my networking, but it plateaued as far as growth is concerned. I joined BNI 6.5 years ago, and the amount of business that we have added on has just trebled since then. It's just enormous. The benefit of BNI is really quite simple. In other networking groups, I found that I did business with the people in the networking groups, but they never referred me to their clients. It was a one-on-one situation. In BNI, you not only do business with people in BNI, you do business with their client base. So when I've got an electrician, when I've got a property manager, when I've got someone who's being asked all the time about security, they simply say, I'll refer you to Michael. You can trust him. Go and have a chat to these people. And we have trebled our business in the last 6 years as a result of that. And I'm looking forward to continue the growth with people like yourself, who I've only recently, come to know very closely.
Yeah, fantastic, Michael. Anything else you want to share about, your business journey? Any hints and tips for people kind of thinking of starting a business? Sort of, what's your kind of I kind of say this? What's your hope for the future? Where do you see yourself? How do you see Security Heroes kind of transition as you move towards retirement? What's your hope for the future?
My business is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And what we've done over the last couple of years is we've actually put on more staff, engaged more technicians, so that the organisation, Security Heroes, can operate with or without me. And we've proven that, because I've had some health issues over the last 12 months, and I'm pleased to say that our business hasn't suffered as a result, even though I personally had to give up the reins in a few areas. So my intent is actually never to retire, never to give up the security, but to give up the management of the business in five or so years by actually, mentoring the right people to be able to take it forward with the right values. And the right values to me is look after the customer first, regardless of the profit margin. Don't charge the most to make the most profit. Look after the customer to make them happy, and the business will walk in the door. So that's my philosophy. If you've got the right philosophy, you do the right thing by the customer, business will continue to build.
That's great. And I think it's such a simple thing, but it's so common that businesses kind of fail in that area. Fantastic. Well, I'm going to close it out there, and we're going to now put you in the hot seat and film you on the backdrop in a second, and we'll get the teleprompter and the lights and all that sort of stuff sorted. So take a breather, and thank you, Michael Hayne from Security Heroes, and I look forward to a long relationship with you over the next few years.
Thank you, Ben.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. No worries. Ciao.